The day is finally here. The Fragment Travis Scott Jordan 1 is finally going to be dropping. After a lot of delays, it's finally going to be dropping. It's right around the corner. It's supposed to be dropping on November 8th. We'll see if they end up getting delayed again, but yes, the date is supposed to be November 8th. Now, usually when it comes to the Travis Scott website, they do tend to drop a day prior to the stated release date. So if I were you guys, I would stay alert tomorrow, November 7th as well. But considering the only place these are supposed to be dropping is the Travis Scott website, they're not going to be dropping on Nike. Unfortunately, guys, I would know otherwise and I would love to tell you that, but unfortunately, these are not going to be seeing a Nike release. We do have some other better Nike releases, though. I shouldn't say better, actually. I mean, it doesn't get much better than the Travis Scott Fragment. I mean, geez. But we do have some really good sneakers that are going to be dropping on Nike Sneakers via Shock Drop 2, and one of which I've been alluding to for quite a while. Nike still has the stock for those, and we're supposed to be seeing a shock drop for that. So again, all early info for that stuff will be posted in Endurance, not just for sneakers, but for Pokemon too. Anyway, so because the Travis Scott Fragments are not going to be dropping anywhere else, it might be the case that they actually do drop on the Travis Scott website on the stated date of November 8th. So that's the most likely date in my opinion, but again, just be ready for November 7th as well. Now, as for what time you should expect, I wouldn't be too concerned because it's going to be a raffle release and you're going to have a little bit of a heads up beforehand. First of all, we're going to notice some back-end activity. When we notice any kind of back-end activity, we're going to post inside of the free Discord group. It's linked in the description. You don't have to join the full Endurance group for this. The free Discord group, we're going to alert people when there's any kind of back-end activity to kind of let you guys know when the raffle is about to load up. And then shortly after that, a few hours usually later, then the actual raffle will begin, and we're going to send out a notification inside the free group. I'd really encourage you guys to join the free group because these raffles do not last too long. You know, it might just be 30 minutes. Sometimes they go on a little longer than that, but nonetheless, you want to make sure you're on top of it ASAP because of how you're going to want to enter for here. It is quite a process to make a lot of multiple entries without getting filtered out, and it could take a lot of time, especially if you don't have a bot. So every minute really does count. You want to make sure you're on top of it like that. So yes, this is going to be a raffle release. Obviously, that means your chances are not going to be too high of winning, especially because the stock's too low. But I'm still here to tell you your best chances of winning. And obviously, your best chance of winning this raffle is if you can manage to make multiple different entries without them getting filtered out. That seems to be what gets everybody. Everybody gets lazy with this process and they end up getting their entries filtered out without even knowing it. And they put in the time to make all these entries, but because they're being lazy about it, they're getting filtered out and you're never going to win any raffles. So let me just walk you through the most important things you need to know to make sure your entries do not get filtered out so you actually have a chance of winning. I'm not guaranteeing you a win. I'm not saying you're definitely going to win. I can't do that because the stock is just so low. And on top of that, apparently there's been some backdooring scandals too with these, so who knows how many actual winners we're going to see this time. We've seen that situation with the Travis Scott Jordan 1 Low Golfs with how many of those pairs got backdoored. I don't think I saw a single actual winner aside from some streamers, which was all to fabricate a fair release, which was a crazy situation. But anyway, you know, we're not going to wave the white flag. We're going to try our best regardless, no matter what the odds are. So let me walk you through it. First, the obvious stuff. The obvious stuff, you need to make sure you're using a different email. The dot trick is like 2019. It's done. Don't do that. You need to make completely different Gmail accounts. And I do recommend you use Gmail accounts, you use Yahoo accounts. Don't use catch-all emails. I think that they're just going to completely void all those. So don't go that route. You literally need to either purchase Gmail accounts or just make a bunch of Gmail accounts. Now, as for phone number, you're going to get the invoice through your email, not just your phone number. So your phone number you could completely randomize. I like to suggest that you keep the area code realistic, although I don't think they're really checking it. I'd suggest keeping the area code realistic. Maybe even keep the next 3 digits, your actual digits as well, and then you can randomize the last few. You also want to make sure you jig your address as well. I would suggest you add 4 random characters before your address. Like let's say it's 123 Maple Street, you want to add like ABCDE 123 Maple Street. But that's not it. You also want to try to come up with other creative ways to jig it too. Like if it's 123 Maple Place, For one of them, you want to put PL. For one of them, you want to put place. For one of them, you could spell place slightly wrong. It doesn't really matter because the actual info that matters is when you pay the invoice. Now, when it comes to the less obvious stuff that you still need to make sure you're doing, you need to make sure you have a different IP address for every single entry. There's a few ways you could go about this. The easiest way is to buy proxies, and then you use a proxy switcher, and you could just have a new IP every single time. A little more tedious, but free way to do it is you use your phone as a hotspot, and every time you make a new entry, you turn on airplane mode and turn it off again. This way you're getting a new gateway every single time when you connect to that hotspot again. The next thing you need to make sure you do is you either need to clear your cookies or you need to open up a brand new Chrome user. And then lastly, if you want to be extra safe, although I can't fully confirm if they are voiding entries because of this, but I do suspect that they might be, it's your device ID. It's changing your device ID. So the first obvious thing you want to do is use as many unique devices as possible. So you might need to have some device ID, and that's why masking your device ID might not be the best solution. So I would suggest using all your devices as possible first, and then for the rest of your entries, masking your device ID. So your device ID will be null. You won't have one. And it's entirely possible they will void those entries too, but I think having no device ID is better than having the same device ID. Because if they're checking for a device ID, then having the same device ID is definitely not going to be good for you. So that's it. That's how you can make multiple entries safely without getting filtered out. And obviously your chances of winning are going to be extremely low, but this is all I could do, guys. Like, I'm trying my best to help you guys cop. I wish I could make it easier. I wish these were first come, first serve releases, but you know, my hands are tied on this. But yeah, I'm just trying to help the best way I can. Do we really need to talk about the resale for these? I don't think so. I think it's pretty obvious. Everyone knows that these are going to be complete bricks. Don't go for them. I'll just go for them myself.